Welcome. We are visiting Suryanabhi, orb of the sun. We are being face to face the values reservoir as orb of the sun. The values reservoir at orb of the sun has its flow from orb of the sun and it maintains a communication with the Suryanabhi. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity efforts to be parallel with these features shall first of all be face to face with different generic hypercubes. Hypercubes are manifested creations formats within creators of space. Force space is the creators of space. Within force space, the first manifestation format is of hypercubes of unit 1. The first of this unit 1 generic sequence of hypercubes is -1, 0, 1, 2 of summation value 2. It is hypercube 1. And of this series, second, third, fourth, subsequent hypercubes will be of values 2, 6, 10, 14, and so on. This sequence of hypercubes are unit 1 generic or unit 1 generic hypercubes. The next generic hypercubes are of unit half. The first of this series is -1/2, 0, 1/2, and 1 of summation value 1. Hypercube 1/2 is of value 1, and the whole series of this generic hypercubes is of values 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and so on. Let us have a pause. Let us have parallel comprehension of first generic hypercubes of unit 1 and second generic hypercubes of unit 1 and 2. This will help us appreciate as that within creators of space, force space, spatial order, there may happen a pair of generic hypercubes. This pair of series of distinct generic hypercubes of unit 1.5 take us parallel with the manifestation along single axis and manifestation along pair of axes, both simultaneously manifesting within the surface itself. As within surface we are having interval and square both parallel with the frames of single axis and pair of axes of two-dimensional frame. A step ahead, we know that force space is having phi space as its origin. This transcendental origin, phi space as origin of force space, is of a solid order. There are 5 dimensions. Therefore, the third generic series of hypercubes is of unit 1/3. The first of it is -1/3, 0, 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. This leads to value 5/13 as it is of 5 steps long setup. We designate it as a range. This range is having first member as of value 5/3. The next is 10/3, 15/3, and so on. Let us have a pause. Till this phase and stage, we are having a triple distinct generic hypercubes series. First is which leads to values 2, 6, 10, and so on. Second is which leads to values 1, 3, 5. Third is which leads to values 5 over 3, 10 over 3, 5 over 3, and so on. This sequential, distinct, generic hypercube series doesn't stop here, as the transcendental origin seed is a compactified seed. Here at the transcendental origin of 4-space, whole range of origins stand compactified. 6-space is origin of 5-space. Therefore, the fourth generic hypercube series is of 6 steps long, as minus 1 over 4, 0, 1 over 4, 2 over 4, 3 over 4, 4 over 4, making the range value 9 over 4. This series continues as 9 over 4, 15 over 4, 21 over 4, and so on. Let us have a pause. We have up till this stage reached at 4 distinct generic hypercube series of unit 1, unit 1 over 2, unit 1 over 3, and unit 1 over 4. And as we have seen that origin seed is a compactified seed of whole range of so sequentially at each step it is unfolding itself. Therefore, the next series, fifth series, will be 7-space as origin of 6-space. 7-space is having 5-space in the role of its dimension. Therefore, this range of 7 steps will be of value minus 1 over 5, 0, 1 over 5, 2 over 5, 3 over 5, 4 over 5, of summation value 14 over 5. First member as 14 over 5 lead to member as 21 over 5, then followed by 28 over 5, and so on. This way, we have seen that within creators space, the whole range of distinct generic hypercube series are manifesting. It, in fact, is an infinite distinct generic hypercube series. Vedic mathematics, as such, becomes a mathematics of having exhaustive coverage of the existence phenomenon in terms of infinite distinct generic hypercube series. See that we are face to face with this infinite generic hypercube series. To have a comprehensive view, let us revisit these series as distinct units, as distinct folds, as distinct values, and whole range standing organized, getting unified. It is this unification which deserves to be comprehended well. When we begin with the half unit generic hypercubes, then we see that hypercube 1 over 2 leads to value 1. Hypercube 1 leads to value 3. 1.5 hypercube leads to value 5. And hypercube 3 and 3.5 leads to value 13. This is the first communication channel coordinating Surya of peace value 13 in with the navel Nabhi of Purusha. Nabhi of Purusha is a placement seat between third and fourth chakras of human body. It is this communication format which deserves to be comprehended well to have a glimpse and imbibing of the flow from orb of the sun for its reach up till the navel of Purusha is the enlightenment. Surya Nabhi, the orb of the sun, the core of solar universe, is a reservoir of values. The values from this reservoir flow along this format of half unit generic series. It is this format which deserves to be comprehended well. Once we are parallel with this communication format, then the rest is to follow as in a sequence they are manifesting a whole range of infinitely distinct hypercube series. It is this infinitely distinct chain of hypercubes series which is making the existence phenomenon being of the order of the solar universe. It is this feature, it is this value, it is this format, it is this organization, it is this mathematics, it is this technology which deserves to be comprehended well. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity efforts to be parallel with Vedic systems shall be parallel with communication formats for a flow from the reservoir of Surya Nabhi for inflow within Surya Nabhi. And it is this comprehension, it is this imbibing which will lead to enlightenment of the order of the Vedic systems. Thank you very much.